Holden. Link left these behind, and I was gonna...
I just saw him pull away as I was driving in.
I thought you were in London.
Just got back. Came here straight from the airport. Lily, there's so much that I need to say to you.
Oh my God, Paul, it's beautiful. There's even a fireplace. And there's a balcony. Oh, Paul, look at the sin. Look at the way the lights reflect. Isn't it beautiful?
Not nearly as beautiful as you.
This is the most wonderful birthday. No. This is the most wonderful night of my whole life.
Oh, good. Because I want it to be perfect. Just like you.
What are you doing here? When you called, I told you not to come.
You hung up on me before I had a chance to explain. And the reason I'm in town is because I brought Carolyn here for some tests.
Here? Here in Memorial? Daryl, you've got to get out of here. We can't be seen together.
You know, all those months that I've been trying to talk to you, you're always begging me to cut off any communication. You were so adamant about it. All I wanted to do was find out how you were doing. Then last night, an old friend of mine, without even knowing that I knew you, told me that you had had a baby. It all made a crazy kind of sense. You just had a beautiful baby girl. She's mine, isn't she?
As the world turns. This portion brought to you today by Cascade with sheeting action. Gives you virtually spotless dishes every time.
Noelle's been just about the most important thing in my life for nearly a year. I was looking forward to watching her grow up, being a part of it. But now suddenly she's not mine anymore. She's somebody else's.
I'm so sorry, Holden. I know how much that must have hurt you.
Yeah, it did. It still does. But I honestly believe that it's the best thing for her. But Angel, she just can't let go. She thinks that somehow she's going to convince Martha Sheridan to let her share Noelle. And when I suggested that we redo the nursery, she totally lost it. She locked the door and hid the key. That's when I decided that I better call Dr. Whitehall.
It's Angel's doctor in London.
He came right over, spent a few hours with her, gave her some medication to calm her down, and told me that my being there wasn't helping, which is why I decided to come back here. I'm hoping that he can get her to see a psychiatrist. I really feel like I'm split in two. The whole time I was in London, I couldn't stop thinking about coming back here and trying to work things out with my family. And seeing you. But now I can't stop thinking about Angel. She's in such a state of... I just can't broach the subject of divorce at this point.
Of course not. You should be with Angel.
I wanted so bad to come back here and to tell you that I'd worked everything out. That I was free. Sorry. I can't tell you that.
Holden, I know that you want to help Angel, and I respect you for accepting that responsibility. don't think that we should really get into this tonight. You look exhausted, and you should go out to the farm and get some sleep.
No, I can't do that. Not with the way things are between me and Caleb. My life is such a mess. I'm playing right over here. I couldn't figure out a way to put things right. I couldn't come up with any answers. But I knew that I had to start with you.
The part of Lisa Mitchell is being played today by Maeve McGuire.
Well, everybody cleared out pretty early tonight, huh?
Oh, thank heavens, because as soon as I lock up, I am going straight upstairs. I am going to have a very hot bubble bath and curl up with a good book. Oh, Lord, I hope that wherever Duncan is tonight, he's all right.
You know, come to think of it, I think we're just gonna stay here and hang out with you for a little while.
Oh, no, absolutely not. You came all the way back from the capital to spend some time with your wife. And already this evening you have had to share her, for most of it, with one of her old beaux. I just wish one of my old beaux would stop into town right about now. Well, one of the ones who's still single.
Well, you never know. This could be your lucky night.
Well,
See ya.
sure. Good night, kids.
Good night. Thank you. Drive carefully.
Okay.
I'm gonna go too.
But, AJ, I will lock up.
You all right?
Yeah, fine. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, Earl. Now's the time I miss you the most.
Lisa.
What? Oh,
Scary, huh?
Caleb! I thought you'd gone home.
No, I was just in the men's room. I was trying to put some water on my thing.
Oh.
You were right, I probably
Oh, heaven.
shouldn't have had those last couple of drinks.
Will you look at you? Oh, honey, come on. Come on, you sit over here. You are in no condition to drive home. Tell you what, I will go call a taxi to take you back to the farm.
No, don't do that. Seth will just lecture me for a few hours, please. But just give me a couple of minutes, all right? I'll be fine, all right?
Uh-huh. You know, I am not so sure about that.
Hey, did I tell you that Barbara got the sweetest little note and the cutest little doll from Julie for having a baby?
Caleb, I'm the one who told you about that, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, and you know what that proves to me? Well, that Julie hasn't forgotten all of her good friends here. And that she still loves you very much. And that one of these days, very soon, she will be back.
You know, every time I go into the kitchen, I think she's going to be there.
Yeah. You know, that was the way I felt when I lost Earl. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and expect to find him beside me in bed. Still do, even now.
You know, I just sometimes feel so damn lonely.
I know, honey. We're both lonely.
You know something? You are so easy to be with, and you're so understanding. I can really see why Julie admires you. You're really a special person.
Well, thank you very much, but...
No buts. You're incredible, you know that?
And I think what you could use is some good, strong black coffee.
Lisa, don't go. Just hold me, all right?
Caleb, you are a sweet boy.
We are both very lonely.
Caleb.
She's my husband's child. How could you think otherwise?
Oh, come on, Barbara, I can count. In a few weeks, it'll be 9 months since we had that night together in Rome.
And if you remember, I told you that before I left my husband, we'd been trying to conceive a child.
Right. You were taking fertility drugs. But you also told me that you'd seen the doctor the day you left Oakdale. She'd taken you off the drugs because they obviously weren't working. You weren't pregnant.
Well, the doctor was wrong, you see, because I was pregnant. It's just that I wasn't far enough along for the test to come out positive.
So you're telling me that you had the baby 3 weeks late?
Yes. It's unusual, but it happens.
Oh, I know it happens, but I find it hard to believe that you would take a plane ride to New York for a fashion show when you were 3 weeks overdue, or that your doctor would allow you to. You know, when I met you in that coffee shop in New York on the day of your show, you were so nervous. I assumed it was just opening night jitters, but you were so anxious to get rid of me, insisting that I leave first. Because if you had left first, well, I would have known then that you were pregnant.
Yes, and if that had happened, you would have jumped to the wrong conclusion, just like you are.
Barbara, I know how much you love your husband, and I love my wife. I have no intention of disrupting either one of our lives. You know what made that night in Rome so special was the fact that we were so honest with each other. Please, don't start being dishonest now. I knew that little girl in the nursery was mine when I looked in at her. Please just tell me the truth, and I promise.
I got back as fast as I could. Hello?
Oh, boy, am I glad to see you.
Drink that coffee.
Lisa,
It should help.
I feel like such a jerk. I'm sorry. I really am.
Caleb, will you please stop apologizing? Look, I told you that I am really very flattered that you would even... Caleb, you were right about something. We are both very lonely. And when you feel that way, well, it's all too easy to mistake comfort and caring for something really more than it is. I mean, you're like a son to me, and Julie's like a daughter, and, oh, well, enough said. I think I am going to go call Ellie. She and Kirk should still be up. I'm sure you can stay at their place tonight.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Come on, I know you're dying to say something.
About what?
You know about what? About the fact that I told you I was working late and then you found me in the private dining room at Ellie's with Connor.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Well, I just figured since Connor's working at Walsh that the two of you were working over dinner. What more is there to say about
You
that?
tell me.
I'll go if you're not going to go. Yes.
Hello?
Hello, Kirk. It's Lisa. I'm sorry to call you so late, but, Caleb is over here at the restaurant, and he has had just a few drinks too many. So he is in no condition to drive home. Now, I know I could put him into a taxi cab, but he is so depressed over Julie, and well, I just don't think he should go back to the farm when he's feeling so down. Could you come over here and get him?
Well, sure, but couldn't he just crash upstairs on your couch?
Well, no. I think it would be better if he spent the night at your place.
Hold on a sec. It's Lisa. She's called to tell me that Caleb's too wasted to drive back to the farm. She wants me to come pick him up and bring him back here.
Oh, Kirk, we got to help him.
All right. Lisa, hi, sure, I'll come and get him. I'll be there in a minute, okay? Thank you. Bye. Okay, better fix up that couch.
You don't mind.
No, we're almost brothers-in-law, right?
I really appreciate it, Kirk.
Does that mean I'm forgiven for having dinner with Connor?
You know what? You're just upset because I am not the least bit jealous.
I just want you to know there's nothing to be jealous about.
Anderson, if I wasn't 110% sure of that, I would not have this ring on my hand. But if it makes you feel better to feel guilty, I'll give you till spring to prove your undying love. How's that?
I think I'm already proving my undying love by picking up your sozzle brother in the middle of the night. Now give me a kiss, will you? It's great knowing that you're going to be waiting for me when I come back. Mrs. Anderson?
I'm not Mrs. Anderson yet, and I may not be if you keep having those rendezvous with Connor.
See, I knew you were jealous.
I am not.
You are too.
I am not.
Are too.
I'm not.
4 down, 2 to go. Whoopee.
Hi.
Hi, you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I was just having dinner with Larry at the Mona Lisa, and he had to stop by the hospital on the way home, so I thought I'd come by and say hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Well, I'm catching up on my medical reading. Excuse me. Have a seat.
Okay. Someplace you got here, huh?
Hello.
Hi, Dad, it's me. Listen, I just came in for the night to see Margot and the kids. I'm calling to see how you're doing.
Well, I was just about to start feeling sorry for myself. Franny dropped in, and my outlook has improved considerably.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Honey, I think that...
Hold on. Honey, I'm talking to Dad. Hold on.
Oh, good.
Anyway.
Please, would you let me talk to him for a minute, please?
Dad, Margot wants to talk to you.
Thanks. Hi, Bob. My friend Daryl Crawford, he's getting a little anxious because Dr. Kozak still hasn't talked to them about the test results from his wife, Carolyn, and I know that he's going to be at the hospital tomorrow, so if you could just poke your head in and reassure him that Kozak is on top of things.
Sure. I'll turn on my best bedside manner.
Well, that's the best in the business. That's great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Here's Tom.
Hi, Dad. Listen, I'm not going to be able to see you this trip. I got to run back to the Capitol in the AM. I'll give you a call the next day or two, and if you need me, Margot has a number.
Listen, son, don't you worry about me. You just get that guilty verdict that you need. I will. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Well, it seems like all my kids are checking on me tonight. Sabrina will be due at almost any time.
Yeah, Daddy, she told me that you and Mom had a talk with her earlier and, he was trying to warn her about Tonio. Tell me something. How did you find out that she was painting his portrait?
Actually, it was indirectly. Susan told me that she saw them having lunch together at Emilio's. I told Kim, and then we both agreed that we should talk to Sabrina. It's the first thing we've agreed on in a long time. Even that backfired.
What do you mean?
Well, I told her that it was Susan who alerted me to the situation. You know, kid, I'd like your opinion about something.
Yeah, sure. What is it?
Henry Matthews suggested that Susan and I have a therapy session together, but I don't know. He wants us to talk about things, but we know exactly where things are between us. It's your mother who's imagining that something's going on when it isn't.
Well, Daddy, I'm sure if Matt suggested it, he's got a very good reason.
But you know, Kim gets so upset, the mere mention of Susan's name. I mean, if she hears that I'm even considering having a therapy session with Susan, she'll have a fit.
Oh, Mother, men are so childish sometimes.
What happened?
Why do men feel they need to prove themselves? When I was seeing Seth, it used to bother him so terribly that I was successful and financially comfortable and he wasn't. And it was the same thing with Colin, only reversed. He was attracted to me for my money. I used to feel guilty for having inherited all that money and guilty for being good at what I do and people acknowledging that. But that's not my fault, is it? It's their fault for being so bloody insecure.
Well, now, good for you, sweetie. Good for you. You've made progress, if you understand that.
If I ever fall in love again, it will be with a man successful enough in his own right that he doesn't have to belittle me to prove himself or attack someone else to make himself feel important. Well, I certainly got a load off my chest, didn't I?
You sure did. Good for you.
Feel better? Marvelous.
Good.
Shall I tell you something else that's marvelous?
Please.
When I walked in the door tonight, I felt so safe and warm and loved. Such a sense of belonging.
Oh, my darling child. I just can't tell you how happy that makes me. And you just let those feelings continue to grow and get stronger. Because that's what's going to sustain you in the bad times.
It's not even 6 a.m. in London yet. I think I'm gonna have to wait a couple hours before I call Dr. Whitehall to see how Angel's doing. I just hope that she got to sleep last night. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks.
I think I'm going to call the Lakeview and get you a room. You look beat.
Oh, I'm glad that Mom is going to be in Waco for a few days. It'll give me a chance to try and patch things up with Caleb.
Hello? Oh, Oh, hi, Link. Yeah, you did leave them here. I tried to give them to you, but you'd already left. I want to bring them by in the morning. No, that might be awkward. Holden's here. Listen, I'm going to explain everything to you tomorrow morning, okay? All right, you too. Good night. I'm going to...
Here you go.
Oh, no, Ellie, thanks. Please, no more coffee.
Caleb, come on, drink some more. How'd you get yourself in this state?
Oh, Ellie, I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to see if I could get so drunk that I could make love to someone and think that they were someone else. Just kidding.
Caleb, at some point you're going to have to find a way to forgive Holden.
Yeah. Look, I can understand the fact that Holden was hurting. I can understand the fact that he even went to Julie for comfort and vice versa. But there's a big, big difference between going to someone for comfort and sleeping with them.
Caleb, Julie would have gone back to you if she thought you were going to take her back. She took your word for it. You said the marriage was over. She felt rejected. She doesn't know any difference. You have to remember what an unhappy life she had before she met you.
Yeah, I know. It's true. She had a rough time in Seattle. But you know, even with all that, she still had a real sweet side. Do you know that she sent Barbara a present and a congratulatory note for having that baby? I mean, with all she's going through, she still remembered her friends.
And this, I love this one. Isn't that great?
He's so cute.
Yeah.
Find these little guys.
Oh, you're not going to believe where I found them. I found them at a gas station. You know, they had one of those convenience stores attached to it. They sell everything under the sun. So I walk in there and I spend every cent that I'm going to spend on gas on these little critters here. And I'll be lucky if I have enough in the tank to get home.
booties on this little...
I also bought a big bunch of balloons, but they confiscated them from me at the front desk.
Really? Why?
Well, apparently they don't allow them in maternity because if one of them explodes, you got a room full of scared babies.
Well, that's Memorial on top of everything.
Yeah, they're on top of everything except the flower deliveries. So you said they sent that guy's wife's flowers to the wrong room, the guy that was here before? Not that you need any flowers.
Oh, right. You know, I have a little list all made up for you of some things I'd like you to take care of so everything's set for us when we come home
Yeah,
tomorrow.
sure.
Think you can handle this?
Yeah, no sweat.
And when it comes to diapers, why don't you get those cute ones that are made for little girls?
Yeah, I'll get them because nothing is too good for my little Jennifer Louise.
Oh, look at this.
We'll continue with part 2 of As the World Turns in just a moment.
I know you're gonna do this.
Who says a good man is hard to find? Look no further than right here on CBS Daytime. Weekdays.
And now part 2 of As the World Turns.
Are you sure you're all right? No. I promise I won't paint the bruises in. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Before you say anything, yes, that was Tonio.
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything. Believe me, you've made it perfectly clear that you're not interested in my opinion of the man. But there is one little thing that I would like to clear up between the two of us, Sabrina, since you didn't give me a chance to explain before. I wasn't the one who told Mom and Dad about you painting Tonio's portrait. It was Susan Stewart. She happened to see the two of you together having lunch today.
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize for jumping to the wrong conclusion, but it's really no one's affair but my own.
Why are you being so defensive about this?
Because I'm an adult. And I'm perfectly capable of making my own choices.
Yes, Sabrina, I am perfectly aware that you're able to make your own choices. I'm just trying to help you make an informed choice about Tonio because I don't happen to think he's showing you his true colors. I'm not in any way criticizing you.
I suppose you think I should be involved with Seth again.
I don't know about that. Well, certainly someone who is more like Seth in his values, yes.
Well, I have news for you. Your impressions of people aren't as accurate as you'd like to think they are.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, this evening, Seth found out that I was painting Tonio's portrait, and he went to Tonio's office, and he beat the poor man senseless. And when I phoned him, appalled by what he'd done, he actually had the gall to try to justify it.
Oh, my God.
And you may also be interested to know that Tonio wouldn't let me phone for an ambulance because he didn't want to have to tell them what happened and get Seth in trouble because he's a friend of mine. I think that's incredibly generous.
Generous? You think Tonio is being generous? Sabrina, you're not thinking straight. Tonio is only interested in power and money. When are you going to realize that? He's trying to impress you for some other reason, just like Colin.
Are you implying that he's only interested in me for my money?
Now, wait a minute. I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth.
Let's just drop this.
Okay, fine. We'll drop it.
How was your dinner with Larry?
It was fine. It was actually kind of nice. I ended up stopping by to see Dad on the way home.
You did? Did he invite you?
Well, no, I just dropped by.
He didn't mind?
No, of course not. He enjoyed the company. I think it kind of made him feel better. Tommy happened to call while I was there, and I think it really boosted his spirits.
Well, this is exactly what I had in mind when I decided to come home for the evening.
I just wish you didn't have to go back to the Capitol so early in the morning.
Yeah, me too.
Figures. Jazz, I'll get it.
Nice.
Hello. Oh, hi, Daryl. No, we're just sitting here. I'm sitting here getting fat. Tom's poking the fire. No. I've got a better idea. Why don't you come over and join us?
Oh, yeah, that's a better idea.
For breakfast. No, it'll give you and Tom a chance to get to know each other better. Yes, you can. You can. About 8 o'clock. That's great. We'll see you then.
So Handsome Harry's coming for breakfast, huh?
Yes, he is,
Good.
honey. I wish you'd stop kidding about this because he's going through all of this with his wife. He's very upset. He's in a strange place, and I would hope if the situation were reversed, some beautiful woman from your past would invite you for breakfast.
You're right, I'm sorry. I just kind of expected to have you more to myself tonight. But I guess that's what I get from marrying a woman with such a big heart.
Yeah, I got 2 big hearts in me now.
Now, aren't you glad that I decided to get a room instead of rushing right back to the airport?
Very.
I imagine we should get a couple hours of sleep, huh?
What, are you kidding? This is the most romantic experience of my life. I want to catch the sunrise, I'm going to milk it for everything it's worth.
All right.
Come on, it's starting to get late. Dawn over Paris. No matter what happens, this is the most wonderful birthday of my whole life.
Wait a sec. What do you mean, no matter what happens?
Nothing. I just mean that no matter what, you could never give me a more beautiful birthday present ever.
Good morning, Sleepyhead.
Morning.
I got off the phone last night. I turned around and you were out like a light.
I don't believe it.
I do. You were up for nearly 24 hours straight. I'll make you some breakfast.
That was Link on the phone last night, wasn't it?
Yes.
You still seeing him?
Yes.
Do you feel about him the way you feel about me? Really, I wish that I could break it off with Angel, but because she's still so upset about Noelle, I can't. She depends on me.
I understand that.
It won't be long. Tell me you'll wait for me. Am I asking too much?
Let's just take this one day at a time. I mean, so much has already happened that we never could have anticipated. And we don't know what else may change. And you need to make peace with Caleb and your family.
Tell me how to do that and I will.
I don't know how to do that. Talk to Ellen. Maybe she knows. She's closer to Caleb than anybody.
Lily, I love you so much. All I want to do is spend the rest of my life with you. I swear, nothing will ever change that.
Tom and Franny both touched base with me last night, and I knew it was just a matter of time before you did.
Well, I never would have dreamed of coming by without an invitation, but Franny seemed to think it'd be all right. Not that I didn't want to come sooner.
Now, listen, I'm just kidding. I'm glad you came. Come on now, sit down. We'll talk. I'm delighted that you're here.
You sure? Mm-hmm. I know Franny and Tom are much closer to you. I wouldn't want to intrude on your privacy.
You're my daughter, too. And I want you to spend as much time with me as you can. Now, sit down. Now, the inevitable question. How are things at home? How are you settling in, okay?
Oh, yes. No, Mother and I are getting along splendidly. To tell you the truth, I was a little afraid we wouldn't.
Why is that?
Well, she was so disappointed in me when I went back to London after the whole unhappy situation with Seth and Franny and me. I'll never forget what she said. She said, I'll always love you, Sabrina, but I don't like you very much.
I'm sure she didn't mean that.
Oh, yes, she did. Who could blame her? That's part of the reason I was so apprehensive about coming back. I'm not sure I ever would have given it a try if it hadn't been for your encouragement in London.
I encouraged you to come home and then I move out. I'm sorry. I had no idea that things would be this way.
I know. I just hope that you and Mother can patch things up, because behind that brave front, she's really terribly unhappy. Fortunately, Lisa came by the house just before I left this morning.
Oh, that's great. I love Lisa dearly, but she has the unhappy habit of jumping into a situation and handing out absolutely the worst advice.
All I am trying to do is lay out the facts for you, Kim. If you and Bob do not patch things up, do you have any idea what the romantic prospects are out there for women our age?
Lisa, I haven't given it any thought. That's the last thing in the world that I'm thinking about right now.
Let me tell you, the pickings are slim. I mean, it's either gay men with whom you can have a wonderful time but no future, recently divorced men who are going through a midlife crisis looking for somebody 25 years old and gorgeous to make them feel young again, married men, men so ancient that they actually think of you as the younger woman, and boys who are young enough to be your son. Now, not that that category isn't very appealing, but...
Lisa, are we talking about me or you?
Look, I suddenly had to face the fact that I could be alone for the rest of my life. And take my word for it, a man who has strayed once, who regrets it mightily, and who loves you with all his heart and soul is a damn sight better than no man at all. Well, enough said. I have things to do at home. Oh, before I forget it, where did you get those beautiful, beautiful burgundy mums that are out there on your porch?
Jordan's nursery.
Oh.
I'm sure they have plenty more.
No. I called them. They're all sold out. Too bad. Love the color. They'd look perfect out on my terrace.
I know they're Bob's favorite color, too. I tell you what, if you take a couple of mine if you want them. Go ahead, take them home with you now.
Well, thank you. I think I will. But, just one will be fine. In fact, one will be just perfect. Well, I'll see you. And don't forget what I told you about what's out there.
Oh, Al, I'm so glad you and I get to meet my friend Dale Crawford.
Yeah.
Then there he is now. I'd lay money on it. There you are. Come on in, Daryl. Hi.
Is that fresh coffee?
Yeah, sure is. Here you go, Daryl Crawford. I want you to meet Hal Munson. Hal, Daryl Crawford.
You're the guy from last night. The flowers enough your wife presented my wife's room.
Exactly, and your wife just had the baby.
Yeah, Hal is my partner against crime.
Oh, thanks.
Small world, huh?
So, you got coffee? Help yourself to a muffin. Mama's at work, and Leon and Adam are asleep right now, so... No?
I don't think so. I'll get him. You're asleep.
Here, sit down. So are you headed over to visit with Carolyn after this?
Yes, I'm hoping to find out the results of the test this morning.
Hey, Darryl, would you mind if I got a ride with you? My car kind of ran out of gas, and I kind of had to leave it in the hospital parking lot last night.
Well, I'm sure he's got room because Daryl has one of those big stretch limos.
Oh, that's right. Margot told me. You're Mr. DeWitt Grain and Cereal.
Yeah, I'd rather if you just call me Daryl.
Listen, can I catch a ride too? Because I would really love to have another peek at little Jennifer Louise, huh?
Something.
Sure. The more the merrier.
Lisa, are you sure that Kim asked you to bring that to me?
Now, what do you think? I think it would look terrific right over there.
Well, I think that's a good sign if she wants me to have something that reminds me of home.
Well, of course it is. And if I were you, I would really try to return the gesture. Something very romantic. Send her a dozen a book of love poems. Yes, that would be perfect. Sonnets from the Portuguese. What I do and what I dream
Lisa,
reflects
if and when I decide to send my wife poetry, I will pick it out. You know, you used to have a tendency of getting involved in other people's business. Now it seems to be your main occupation. Why can't you just... I'm sorry. I know you mean well.
No. You're right. I have become a terrible busybody. An old maid and a busybody.
Oh, come on now. You're not old.
Don't you dare try and humor me, Bob Hughes. And don't you dare try and tell me that I am going to find love right around the next corner, because you and I both know that at my age, the odds of that happening are about 1,000 to 1.
Hey. What's the matter?
You know what I almost did last night? Almost went to bed with a boy half my age. He was drunk. I was lonely. Oh, I knew it would be a terrible mistake, but for a moment, it was so tempting. Feel that somebody needed me, somebody wanted me. Just for one night, the other side of the bed wasn't going to be so cold, empty.
Lisa, I'm sorry. You know, I'm just beginning to find out what real loneliness is.
Okay, Seth, I'll tell him. Love you too. Bye. Kayla, that was Seth, and he said that you can stay here and rest as long as you want, and he'll take care of the chores, okay? We're gonna go get your car at the Mona Lisa.
Listen, you guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate everything.
Just don't make a habit of it.
Thanks, Kurt.
We'll be back.
See ya.
Lisa, hi, it's Caleb.
Caleb, I really hope you're not calling to apologize again.
Lisa, I feel like such a fool.
Caleb, stop it. Now listen, I want you to give some very serious thought to letting me hire a private detective to help us find Julie. I want to see you two kids back together again.
Lisa, even if she does come back, I'm not sure that's going to happen. I just don't know if I can forgive her. And I'm sure that I'm not going to be able to forgive Holden. Look, there's somebody at the door, all right? I'm going to go. Bye.
So we're not going to be back as early as we thought.
Well, don't worry about it, Paul. I don't think things are going to be too crazy at the office today anyway, so you just enjoy yourselves.
Well, I can promise you we've definitely been doing that.
Great. Listen, could you put Emily on for a second?
Sure, hang on. It's Lily for you.
Hi, Lily.
Hi, I hear you're having a good time.
The best, and thank you for the time.
Don't mention it. Listen, I hate to hit you with this over the phone, but Sean just called me from Switzerland, and Gavin Kruger is insistent about flying you out to L.A. and having you start there as soon as possible. Good morning, Mom.
Good morning, darling.
Well, I'm on my way to see Barbara at the hospital before I head off to work.
Give her my love, will you?
Yeah, sure.
Honey, Sabrina said you saw your father last night.
Yeah, I did.
How's he doing?
Well, I think he's trying to make the best of the situation.
Well, I gotta go or I'll be late.
Okay. I love you.
I love you, too.
And take my word for it. A man who strayed once but regrets it mightily and loves you with all his heart and soul. That's a damn sight better than no man at all.
Kim? If you don't mind, I'd like to spend some time with Christopher before I go to work, and I wanted you to have this.
Well, Barbara, you and little Jennifer both get an A+.
Oh, that's great. Does that mean we can go home today?
I don't see why not. Being a few weeks early doesn't seem to have affected little Jennifer in the least.
Doctor, I told you that has to remain confidential.
Of course. I'd never discuss anything in your file with anybody but your husband.
Hey, hon. Brought you some visitors.
Stay tuned for Guiding Light, next on most of these CBS stations. Children's Clothes by Goodland of Philadelphia. Join us tomorrow for As the